friends, we're finishing up our week this week about growing things, both animals and plants, with an Eric Carle story. I know you guys like The Very Hungry Caterpillar. That's a book that he wrote and illustrated as well. You can kind of tell from the pictures that this is an Eric Carle book, but it's called The Tiny Seed. And Mrs. Keebler has read this book many, many times, so it's kind of falling apart. I had to tape it together to keep it together, so see if you like it. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and it carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? See the wind blowing it? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. See this tiny seed down there? But this one's not going to be good anymore. It went too high. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. See all the other seeds over here? There's the tiny seed back behind. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. See the other seeds there. There's that tiny seed. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with all the other seeds. Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Did you know that birds like to eat seeds? They sure do. That every seed that gets eaten by a bird is another plant that doesn't grow. Now it is winter. After their long trip, this is the snow right here. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it. Lucky tiny seed. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full, they start to burst open a little. Now they're not seeds anymore. They're plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and the air. There's another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It's a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the new little plants, and that little plant dies. Do you see this weed over here? And he has big leaves, and he covers it over so that this plant isn't going to be able to live. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it starts to grow into a plant. Do you see it? It's just little right here. Because we know that plants need water and sunlight and dirt to grow. Seeds need that. You tell my book is not in good shape. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in the springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along and he breaks one. He stepped on it. Now it cannot grow anymore. There's a lot of things that can happen to seeds while they're growing and while they're flying. Isn't that the case? The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 6. And look, a bud. And now it even grew a flower. But what's happening? First there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. Uh-oh. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. Isn't that thoughtful? It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it. The rain waters it, and it has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It's taller than the people. It's taller than the trees. It's taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It's the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. All summer long, the birds and the bees and the butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it's autumn again. The days grow shorter. The nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. This is like the beginning of the story, isn't it? The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and it bends away from the wind. But the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time, the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. Did you know that the parts of the plant are the stem and the leaves and the flower? And usually the flower is where all the seeds are. That is what happened in our story today. Now, I have a question for you. When you look at this picture right here, does this tell you that this story is real, or is this story pretend? Can flowers really grow that tall, or they're taller than the people and the trees and the houses? I think this story is a pretend story, but it's a good story to talk to us all about how seeds grow and how plants grow.